The sun streamed through the window, filling the room with a warmth that felt almost foreign to me. Birds chirped cheerfully outside, their songs a stark contrast to the heaviness in my chest. I stared at the kitchen table, its surface cluttered with yesterday's worries. How could the world be so bright when my heart felt so dark? Just then, the door creaked open, and Tyler walked in. He was my 20-year-old nephew, a mix of youthful innocence and unspoken tension. His eyes sparkled with a kind of hope that made me feel both uplifted and uneasy. "Hey, Auntie, you want to go for a walk later?" he asked, his voice light and inviting. I forced a smile, but my mind raced. What did I want? Did I even know anymore? The guilt washed over me like a cold wave. "Sure, that sounds nice," I replied, trying to hide the turmoil beneath the surface. As he moved closer, I couldn't help but flash back to my marriage with Derek. It felt like I was living in a museum of our past, frozen in time. I remembered the early days, the passion that once ignited our conversations, and the laughter that filled our home. But now, silence settled between us like a thick fog, and every day felt like an echo of the last. I missed the connection we once had, and it left me vulnerable. "Is everything okay?" Tyler's voice snapped me back to the present. I looked at him, struggling to mask my feelings. "Yeah, just thinking," I murmured, my heart racing at the thought of the life-altering choices lurking just beneath the surface. He studied me for a moment, concern flickering in his eyes. "You know you can talk to me, right? I'm here for you." Those words lingered, a lifeline thrown into my sea of confusion. Did he understand the weight of what I was feeling? The guilt? The longing? The undeniable attraction I had been trying to suppress? I wanted to tell him everything and nothing at the same time. What would he think if he knew? Would he judge me? Or would he see the woman I had become instead of the aunt he loved? I shook my head slightly, dismissing his concern. "It's nothing, really. Just life, I guess." I glanced away, afraid to meet his gaze. I felt like I was standing on the edge of a cliff, looking down into the unknown. Tyler stepped closer, his youthful energy radiating warmth. "You can't carry it all alone, you know. Everyone needs someone." His words hung in the air, a reminder of my loneliness. I wished I could reach out and grasp that moment of connection. But as I looked into his eyes, I felt the pull of desire mixing with guilt. What was wrong with me? I was drowning in questions without answers. As Tyler leaned in to help with the dishes, I caught a glimpse of the life we had shared. Family dinners, laughter, and warmth. But those memories felt tainted now. The shadows of my marriage loomed large, and I felt trapped in a role I no longer recognized. Did I want to break free? Or was I simply afraid of what lay ahead? "Do you ever feel like you're stuck?" I asked, the words slipping out before I could stop them. He paused, looking thoughtful. "Sometimes, yeah. But I think it's important to keep moving forward. You can't let fear hold you back." His words struck a chord, resonating deep within me. And just like that, the tension in the room shifted. I realized I had to confront my own fears, to figure out what I truly wanted from this life. As I stood there, watching Tyler wash the dishes, I felt the weight of my choices pressing down on me. What was I willing to risk? And what would I lose if I didn't find the courage to face my truth? With every passing moment, I knew I was on the brink of something significant. The sun continued to shine, but inside, I felt the shadows deepening. As I stood there, the warmth of the sun spilled through the window, but the air felt heavy with unspoken words. Tyler was in front of me, his eyes bright with curiosity and something deeper, something that made my heart race. I could feel the gravity of the moment pulling us closer, a silent invitation that both thrilled and terrified me. "Do you want to talk?" he asked, his voice soft but steady. I hesitated, my thoughts a whirlwind of confusion. What could I possibly say? Talking felt like a dangerous game. I don't know, I finally replied, my throat dry. He stepped closer, the innocence of his youth contrasting sharply with the chaos in my mind. Memories of laughter and playful moments flooded in, but they felt tainted now. I remembered the times we spent together, watching movies, sharing secrets, and the way he always looked up to me. But now, standing here, everything felt different. I felt like I was betraying Derek, my husband, even as I stood there with Tyler. "Why do you look so worried?" Tyler asked, his brow furrowing. "You can tell me anything, you know that." I wanted to believe that, but the truth was a heavy weight on my chest. "It's just, life has been complicated lately," I admitted, my voice barely above a whisper. "I don't want to ruin what we have." "What do we have?" Tyler pressed, his eyes searching mine. The tension in the air thickened, and I felt a mix of longing and fear. I swallowed hard. "We have a bond, Tyler. But it's not supposed to be like this." I gestured between us, but my heart was racing, urging me to cross that invisible line. "I don't want to lose you," he said, stepping closer, his breath warm against my skin. "You mean a lot to me." His words struck a chord deep within me. I thought about Derek, my husband, who had once been my everything. But somewhere along the way, we had drifted apart, and I felt trapped in a life that no longer fulfilled me. The memories of our love were like ghosts, haunting me in the quiet moments. "Tyler, this is wrong," I said, shaking my head, but my voice lacked conviction. My heart felt like it was beating out of my chest, and a part of me longed to ignore the warning signs. "Maybe it isn't," he replied, his voice low. "Maybe we just need to be honest about what we want." His words hung in the air, heavy with possibility. I looked into his eyes, and for a moment, I imagined a life where passion replaced the emptiness I felt with Derek. But that vision was quickly overshadowed by guilt. "I can't do this," I said, taking a step back, my heart pounding. "I'm married." "I get it," he said, frustration flickering across his face. "But don't you ever feel like you're missing something? Like there's more out there for you?" The question pierced through my defenses. I thought about the years I had spent with Derek, the moments of joy overshadowed by a growing sense of loneliness. I glanced away, my mind racing. "I don't know what I want anymore," I admitted. In that moment, I felt the weight of my choices pressing down on me. I was standing on the edge of a cliff, ready to leap into the unknown. The thrill was intoxicating, but so was the fear of falling. "I need time to think," I finally said, my voice trembling. Tyler nodded slowly, respect in his eyes. "I understand. Just know that I'm here for you, no matter what you decide." As he stepped back, the distance felt both like relief and a loss. I was left standing there, my heart a mix of exhilaration and terror. The line had been crossed, and there was no going back. I could feel the shift in the air, the undeniable truth that my life was about to change forever. What had started as a simple moment of connection had spiraled into something far more complicated. I was caught between the shadows of my past and the secrets of my desires. Would I have the courage to face the consequences? I took a deep breath, knowing that the answers I sought were just beyond my reach, waiting for me to find them. The days blurred together after I learned I was pregnant. Each morning, I woke up with a knot in my stomach, the reality of my situation crashing down like waves. I stared out the window, watching the sun rise, but even the beauty of the day couldn't lift the weight of fear that pressed heavily on my chest. One evening, I sat at the kitchen table, sipping tea, when Derek walked in. His eyes flicked to me, then to my untouched cup. "You're quiet today," he said, his voice tinged with concern. I forced a smile, but it felt brittle. Just tired, I guess. He leaned against the counter, crossing his arms. Tired or hiding something? I felt my heart race. The accusation hung in the air between us, thick and suffocating. "What do you mean?" Derek stepped closer, his brow furrowing. "I don't know. You've been distant lately, like you're somewhere else." I swallowed hard, my mind racing. How could I tell him? How could I possibly explain the truth? "I'm just feeling overwhelmed with work," I lied, the words tasting bitter on my tongue. He studied me for a moment, his gaze searching mine. "If there's something going on, you can talk to me. I want to help." The sincerity in his voice made me ache. I wanted to scream the truth, to spill my secrets, but the fear of losing everything held me back. "I appreciate that, Derek. Really, but I just need some time to sort things out." "Okay," he said, though I could see the doubt in his eyes. He turned away, and I felt the space between us widen. I hated that I was pushing him away, yet I couldn't bring myself to pull him closer. Later that night, I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. My phone buzzed on the nightstand, and I grabbed it, my heart leaping. It was a message from Tyler. "Can we talk?" I hesitated for a moment, my fingers hovering over the screen. What did he want? Did he know about the baby? I typed back cautiously, "Sure. When?" "Now?" I took a deep breath and replied, "Okay, I'll be outside." I slipped on my jacket and stepped out into the cool night air, the stars twinkling above me. Tyler was waiting by his car, leaning against it, his expression serious. "Hey," he said softly as I approached. "Hey." I felt a wave of emotions crash over me, and I struggled to find the right words. "What's up?" He ran a hand through his hair, looking troubled. "I've been thinking about us, about everything that happened." "I know," I said, my heart racing. "It's been hard for me too." He stepped closer, his voice dropping to a whisper. "I can't stop thinking about you, about what we did." A shiver ran down my spine. "I know it's complicated, Tyler. He interrupted me. "Complicated? You mean the fact that you're married and now you're pregnant? That's more than complicated." The weight of his words made my chest tighten. I didn't plan for this. I didn't want to hurt anyone. Tyler looked at me, his eyes dark with emotion. "But you did, and now we have to figure out what this means." I felt tears prick at my eyes. "What do you want from me?" He stepped back, running his hands through his hair again, frustration evident in his posture. "Honestly, I want to know if you even want this baby, or if you want Derek." The question hung in the air, heavy and suffocating. I didn't have the answer. "I don't know," I admitted, my voice trembling. "I'm scared, Tyler. I don't want to lose everything." "You might lose everything anyway," he said, his voice low but firm. "You have to make a choice." I looked down, feeling the weight of his words settle deep within me. The reality of my situation was like a storm, swirling and chaotic, and I was caught in the eye of it. "I need time," I finally said, my voice barely above a whisper. "Take all the time you need," he replied softly. "But remember, whatever you decide, I'll be here." As he walked away, I was left standing in the darkness, the enormity of my choices crashing down around me. All I could do was stare at the stars, searching for answers that seemed just out of reach. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at the wall as the weight of my pregnancy sank in. The sun streamed through the curtains, casting a warm light in the room, but it felt cold to me. I could hear the faint sound of Tyler's laughter outside, a sound that used to bring me joy, but now only pulled me deeper into my confusion. What would this mean for my marriage? For us? As I picked at the frayed edges of my blanket, My phone buzzed on the nightstand. It was a message from Tyler. "Can we talk?" My heart raced. I knew we needed to confront what was happening between us, but I dreaded it. I typed back, "Sure. Where? Meet me at the park?" I took a deep breath, my mind spinning. Meeting him felt like a step towards something I was both drawn to and terrified of. I slipped on a light jacket and headed out, feeling a mix of excitement and dread with every step I took. When I arrived at the park, I found Tyler sitting on a bench, looking pensive. He looked up when he saw me, and his face brightened, but the smile didn't reach his eyes. "Hey," he said softly, patting the space next to him. "Hey," I replied, sitting down. The silence stretched between us, heavy and thick. Finally, I broke it. I got the test results." His eyes widened, and he leaned closer. "And?" I swallowed hard. "I'm pregnant." His expression shifted from surprise to concern. "What does this mean for us?" I shook my head, fighting back tears. I don't know what to do. I'm married, Tyler. I love Derek. At least I used to." Tyler's face fell. "You can't just throw this away because of him? What about us? What we shared?" "What we shared," I echoed, feeling the weight of my guilt. "It was a mistake, Tyler. It felt right in the moment, but now..." My voice trailed off. "Now you're running away?" he challenged, his eyes flashing with frustration. "You can't pretend this isn't real. You can't ignore how we feel about each other." I pressed my palms into my eyes, trying to block out the chaos swirling in my mind. "I'm not running away. I don't want to hurt anyone. I love Derek, but I have these feelings for you that I can't explain. I just can't stand the thought of you being with him when you could be with me," he said, his voice low but intense. "This isn't just about a mistake. It's about what we could have." "Tyler, stop!" I snapped, feeling overwhelmed. I needed clarity, not more confusion. "I can't think like that right now. I have to go home and face Derek." Just then, my phone buzzed again. I glanced at the screen, my heart sinking. It was a message from Derek. "We need to talk. I'll be home in an hour." I looked back at Tyler, my face pale. He knows something is off. I have to go. "Wait," Tyler said, grabbing my hand. "Please don't shut me out. This is our chance to figure things out." Tears filled my eyes as I pulled my hand away. I can't do this right now. I have to face him first." I stood up, feeling the weight of two worlds crashing down on me. "I'll call you later," I said, but I wasn't sure what that meant. As I walked away, I felt Tyler's eyes on me, filled with hope and fear. I had left him in a whirlwind of emotions, but I couldn't afford to think about that now. I was heading into a storm that I had started but didn't know how to face. At home, the atmosphere was tense. Derek was waiting for me in the living room, his expression serious. "We need to talk," he said, echoing the message I had just received. I nodded, my heart pounding. I knew this conversation would change everything. As I took a deep breath and sat down, I felt the walls closing in around me. I was caught between my past and an uncertain future, desperate to find a way through the chaos. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at the walls that had witnessed so many moments of my life. Moments of joy, sadness, and now, confusion. The morning light poured through the window, illuminating the dust motes in the air, but it felt like darkness surrounded me. I had to find a way to understand what was happening inside me. Why did I let it get this far? I whispered to myself, my voice barely breaking the silence of the room. I thought about Tyler and the fleeting thrill that had taken over my life. It was more than just an affair. It became a mirror reflecting all the things I didn't have. I grabbed my phone and texted my best friend, Mia. "Can we talk? I need to figure some things out." A few moments later, my phone buzzed with her response. Of course. Let's meet at the cafe in an hour. As I got ready, I thought about my marriage to Derek. I remembered the laughter we used to share, the way we would talk for hours about everything and nothing. But somewhere along the line, those conversations faded away. Derek became distant, lost in his work, and I felt invisible. At the cafe, the smell of coffee wrapped around me like a warm blanket. Mia was already there, her eyes bright with concern. "Hey, what's going on?" she asked, sliding into the seat across from me. "I don't know where to start," I admitted, my voice trembling. "Things have spiraled out of control. I'm pregnant, and I don't know what to do." Mia's expression softened. "Wow, that's huge. Have you talked to Derek?" I shook my head. "Not yet. I don't even know how to tell him. And then there's Tyler. Everything is a mess." Mia leaned in closer, her voice gentle. "You need to take a step back and think about what you really want. What do you feel for Derek? And what about Tyler?" I took a deep breath. With Derek, I feel lost. I miss the connection we used to have. But with Tyler, it's different. There's this spark, this excitement, but I know it's wrong. "Sometimes excitement can feel like love," Mia said wisely. "But real love is built on trust and understanding. You need to figure out what you want moving forward." Her words struck a chord within me. I had to confront my feelings head on, and not just let them swirl around in confusion. "I need to look back at my life and see where it went wrong," I said, my voice gaining strength. "I need to understand why I strayed in the first place." "Do you want to talk about Derek?" Mia asked, encouraging me to dive deeper. "Yeah, I guess I do." I closed my eyes, recalling moments that seemed so far away now. I remember when we first got married. We were so in love. We had dreams, plans for the future. But as life happened, we drifted apart. It's like we stopped caring about each other. Mia nodded. "Relationships take work, and sometimes we forget to put in that effort." "Exactly," I replied, feeling a wave of realization wash over me. I felt neglected, and that led me to seek attention elsewhere. But it doesn't justify my choices. "No, it doesn't," Mia said gently. "But it does help you understand your feelings. You need to be honest with yourself about what you truly want." "I want to feel loved again," I admitted, my voice shaking. "But I don't know if I can go back to how things were with Derek. And Tyler. He makes me feel alive, but it's also complicated." Mia reached across the table and squeezed my hand. "It's okay to feel confused. You don't have to make a decision right this moment. You just need to be true to yourself." I looked into her eyes, searching for clarity. "I think I need to talk to both of them. I need to lay everything out on the table and see where we all stand. It's the only way I can figure out what's next." Mia smiled, a glimmer of encouragement in her eyes. "That sounds like a good start. Just remember to be honest and open. It's tough, but it's the only way to move forward." As I left the cafe, I felt a weight lift slightly off my shoulders. I was still scared, but I realized that understanding myself was the first step I needed to take. I had to face the truth about my feelings and the choices I had made. It was time to embrace the path ahead, no matter how uncertain it felt. As I stood in the quiet of my living room, the weight of my secret felt heavier than ever. The sunlight streamed through the windows, casting a warm glow that felt almost mocking. I could hear the faint sounds of the world outside, a bird chirping, children laughing. But inside, it felt like a storm was brewing. I took a deep breath, knowing that today was the day. I had to tell Tyler and Derek about the baby. My heart raced at the thought. What would they say? How would they react? I stared at the wall, trying to gather my thoughts, but they scattered like leaves in the wind. I picked up my phone and texted Tyler. "Can we talk?" It felt like a lifeline thrown into the deep end. I needed him to be here. Moments later, I heard the front door open. Tyler stepped in, his expression a mix of confusion and concern. "Hey, what's going on?" he asked, his voice soft but urgent. I gestured for him to sit. "I have something important to tell you," I began, my voice trembling slightly. "It's about the baby." His eyes widened, and he leaned forward, the weight of my words hanging in the air. "What do you mean? Are you—" I nodded, feeling tears prick at the corners of my eyes. "I'm pregnant, Tyler." The silence that followed felt like an eternity. I watched as he processed what I had just said, his expression shifting from shock to something deeper. "Wow," he finally said, his voice barely above a whisper. I didn't know." "I didn't either until a few days ago," I admitted. "I've been so scared. I didn't know how to tell you." "What about Derek?" he asked, his brows knitting together. "What are you going to do?" I looked away, the reality of my situation crashing over me like waves against the shore. "I have to tell him too. He deserves to know." Tyler's face fell. "You think he'll be okay with this? With us?" I took a deep breath, knowing the truth was complicated. "I don't know. I don't know anything right now. I just feel lost." Before I could say anything more, the door opened again, and Derek walked in, his expression shifting from casual to concerned in an instant. "What's going on?" he asked, glancing between Tyler and me. I felt my heart race. "Derek, we need to talk," I said, my voice shaking. "It's about the baby." His expression hardened. "What baby?" I swallowed hard, the words feeling like lead in my throat. "I'm pregnant." The room fell silent again, the weight of my confession heavy. Derek's eyes widened, and I could see the gears turning in his mind. Is it mine?" he asked, his voice tight. I looked at Tyler, then back at Derek. "Yes, but it's complicated." Derek's face twisted in confusion and anger. "Complicated how? You've been seeing him behind my back, and now you're telling me you're having a baby? That's not fair," I shot back, my emotions spilling over. "I made mistakes, but this isn't just about you or me. It's about this baby." Tyler stepped in, his voice calm but firm. "We're all in this together. We need to talk about what this means for all of us." Derek turned to Tyler, his expression darkening. "You think you have a say in this? You're the reason my marriage is falling apart." I felt like I was caught in a whirlwind, the air thick with tension. "Stop, please, just listen to me," I pleaded. "I don't want this to turn into a fight. We need to understand what we all want." Derek crossed his arms, his eyes narrowing. "What do you want then? Do you want me or him? Do you want this baby?" I took a moment, letting the weight of his question sink in. "I want to figure out what's best for everyone. I want to be happy, but I also want to take responsibility for my actions." Silence filled the room again, and I could see the pain on both their faces. I felt a sense of clarity emerge amidst the chaos. This was my chance to redefine everything, to choose a path that was true to me. "I need time to think," I finally said, my voice steady. "But I promise, I will make a decision. I want to find a way to make this work for the baby, for both of you, and for myself." As I spoke the words, I felt a flicker of hope. This was the beginning of a new chapter, a chance to understand love, betrayal, and the search for my own happiness. I could see the shadows of our past, but now I was ready to step into the light. Share this story if you believe that love can conquer even the toughest challenges. Leave a comment about a time when an unexpected revelation changed your life, and subscribe to the channel for more compelling stories like this one.